We've talked about the Breonna Taylor case today and the decision that was made there in Kentucky. And I also mentioned the Gardner case, who tragically was pushed to commit suicide because they were charging him with murder when he defended himself against assault outside of his own bar in Omaha, Nebraska. And now we have more footage as well in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I mean, people are saying that he committed first-degree murder. That's an outrage. Here's the Fox write-up of this additional video footage that aired last night on Tucker Carlson's show. Newly released video footage from the night Illinois teenager Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 people during unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last month could support the claim that the 17-year-old was being attacked by demonstrators and acted in self-defense. The footage, provided by a nonprofit organization affiliated with Rittenhouse's defense attorney, was shown on Tucker Carlson tonight on Tuesday and raised questions about the events that led up to the shooting. Rittenhouse faces felony charges, including first-degree intentional homicide. Okay, they're charging this kid with first-degree murder, folks, but among many other charges. His attorneys argue Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. So here's what you see in the video. The footage shows Rittenhouse running with a fire extinguisher. Rosenbaum appears to chase after Rittenhouse when a single gunshot is fired. Now, Joseph Rosenbaum, is a convicted child molester who was committing arson. So those are the kind of people that are part of the BLM movement. Okay, convicted child molester Joseph Rosenbaum was lighting things on fire. Quote, surrounded Rittenhouse squeezed 4 shots in squeezed 4 shots in Rosenbaum's direction. Seconds later, 3 additional shots were reportedly fired by an unknown shooter. 1 bullet grazed Rosenbaum's head, while another penetrated his right groin, his left thigh, and his back. Kyle Rittenhouse fired 4 shots initially that night. Another 4 were fired. We still don't know who fired them. No one else has been arrested or charged. At this point, according to the video's narration, an unidentified protester strikes Rittenhouse in the head, causing him to fall to the ground. Another protester attempts to jump on Rittenhouse, who then fires 2 shots into the air. Yet another protester then strikes Rittenhouse in the back of the head with what appears to be a skateboard while reaching for the teen's rifle. Rittenhouse fires a single shot, striking the man in the chest. The video appears to show another protester advancing with a handgun aimed at Rittenhouse, who fired off a round and struck the man in the bicep. So you got a convicted child molester who's lighting fires, a bunch, who has the first exchange here with Rittenhouse. A bunch of shots ring out, likely at Rittenhouse. Someone's firing at him. And then the mob tries to, and we've seen this video many times, physically assault him. The mob tries to take his weapon and I'm sure kill him with it. Somebody who's attacking him has a pistol in his hand when he's doing it. I think they just didn't believe that Rittenhouse would actually use his rifle. I really think that that's a big part of this. They figured, he's just some, MAGA hat wearing, wannabe. They just figured that he wasn't really going to do anything with it. And so they could attack him and, beat him senseless, maybe kill him. And they found out, at least some of the people attacking him, that was not true. That he was willing to use the rifle that he brought to that riot scene in self-defense. And this, friends, is a really a foundational issue for our rule of law in this country. Do you have the right to defend yourself? The police officers in the Breonna Taylor case, they were being shot at after they knocked and said police. If we're going to say that they're not allowed to shoot back then, you're saying the cops can never shoot. So at least they didn't try to charge those cops with murder, but that would have been outrageous beyond words. But they are charging one officer with 3 counts of reckless endangerment. So there's that. And then you also have this case in Kenosha where someone used a rifle to defend himself. They're charging with first-degree murder. I mean, a depraved, really the highest crime in our legal system. I mean, you could get the death penalty for first-degree murder. They're going to execute this kid because he didn't allow himself to get beaten to a bloody pulp and maybe murdered with his own weapon, or murdered with the weapons that these other lunatics who were rioting had. How could any person of good faith and any person with a decent sense of justice see what's happened in some of these cases, see what happened in Omaha, where when a prosecutor reviewed the footage, it's on video, said, yeah, you can't actually tackle a guy to the ground who's got a gun and try to beat his face in and think that he's not going to shoot you. Sorry. That was the first pass at it. But, oh, no, the mob demands a scalp. The mob demands there has to be charges against people who are trying to defend themselves. It's appalling, friends. This should not be happening. But this is increasingly the country that we live in, where prosecutors know that it's not just their election prospects, because prosecutors in many places have to, district attorneys have to run for office. It's an elected position. And other prosecutors who are just on-line prosecutors, as they say, they don't want their careers to stall out. They want to be elevated. They want to be the attorney general for a state, or maybe the attorney general of the United States. They want to be an AUSA or the U.S. attorney. They don't want to just be a district, an assistant district attorney. And then there's the safety considerations that are raised for that, for the prosecutors and the politicians that are pushing for some of these things. Because if you believe in self-defense now, you may, and you're a public figure, you may find yourself on the wrong side of a mob gathering outside of your home. You may find yourself in a situation where you have an angry mob that has gathered and that's threatening your wife and children because you believe the Second Amendment and the right to self-defense are in fact the law, because they are. But people don't want that. They don't want that attention. We are seeing a very unfortunate period here of cowardice that is growing within the legal system, and the angry mob is exploiting it. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.